Wow. Go ahead and do your thing.
What? Oh, boom, 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 boom,
Yeah,
boom,
yeah,
boom,
yeah, yeah,
boom,
yeah, yeah,
boom,
yeah, yeah,
boom,
yeah, yeah,
boom,
yeah,
boom,
yeah,
boom,
yeah,
boom,
yeah,
boom,
yeah,
boom,
yeah,
boom.
yeah.
I went last week. I think it's Spence' turn.
You got
Man,
it,
fuck
man.
all of that.
You got it. You got it. Like Jesus. Like, I'm just
Yo,
saying that it's your turn. That's all I said.
every week you guys got me. Every week. It never fails, man. It never fails. Yo, what's going on, everybody? You checking in right now. This is the Highly Advised Podcast. This is episode 21. You checking in with me, Spence, with two of my good friends, Loud, Nigel. Say what's up, fellas.
Yo, 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 it's your boy Big Cozy, Too Cozy, a.k.a. El Capitan, a.k.a. the Big El Grande Don. What's up, everybody? It's your boy Lau.
Yo, what's going on, y'all? This is Nigel. I'm here with Spence and Wow. We're sitting here chilling, doing this shit for y'all. Ready to come and bring y'all a good show.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
same as always. Same as always. You know how it is. It's me, Spence, rocking in with you one more time. Hey, yo, fellas, how y'all week been, man? How y'all been doing since the last time we talked?
Well, man, so the week is not crazy bad or nothing like that, but, you know, I have to let the world know. Your boy is he has some fucking back problems going on. I know, shocker. Wow, Big Cozy, Too Cozy. Yeah, Big Cozy, Too Cozy. He been a little too cozy this past week. So my motherfucker back been hurting. But don't worry, I'm gonna go see the motherfucker doctor in like 24 hours. So
Good insurance, man.
yes. So we're all good over here besides that. How about you guys?
For me, this week it's been better. You know what I mean? Like I've learned some interesting things going on in my life, and can't really comment on it too much. But let's just say, I've heard some people are plotting, and it's
They
interesting.
sneaking it. They sneak this in.
They're trying to snipe me, man. Like really, that's what it
Hey,
is.
hey man, it's time to pull out the Draco.
I can't do that. I can't even allude to that. I have nothing but peaceful words for those people. but
Trying to get this man fired, man. You gotta chill.
But what I will say is that, like,
Jesus.
I wish them nothing but the best, and I hope that we can part ways very soon.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, my week been pretty good, man. I can't really call it. Just kind of been vibing out, chilling, enjoying like the scenery around the way for ever since like this whole little storm we had this week. Prayers to anybody that was affected by that. I think it was like a couple million people that was like without electric and shit. So I've been good though. All in all, I've been good, chilling, relaxing. Just another week, reading on some new books. That's about it. So.
That's what's up, man. That's good. And most definitely, I'm glad that you guys are safe and you made it through the storm with no issues.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's definitely some people I knew that lost some power, but that was about it. Nothing severe or crazy.
Yeah, I know I seen someone in Middletown had lost like the back of their home actually.
Right? Yeah, I saw that too. It's crazy.
Yeah, and it was really crazy. Like it's sad and all of that, like how all that happened. But what got even crazier for me was like later in the week. I think it was I forget what day it was exactly, but we saw the explosion in Lebanon. Or it was Beirut, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. We give our condolences to the people in Lebanon who are going through that situation. It's tragic,
Facts.
It seems like,
Absolutely.
it seemed like just a lot of things were happening at the moment in time. I'm not sure if y'all saw like the video of the woman getting ready for her wedding, and the explosion happened. It's just crazy stuff.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
tragic.
Yeah, that shit was crazy, bro. Cause you see that and you're like, hold on, like you gotta be kidding me. Cause it looks so much more like a movie when you're watching it because you're like, this is like right before all chaos happens.
Right.
So it was crazy, and I was just like, yo, it's unfortunate, but it was a blessing at least to be able to see something from like or not. It was a blessing to be able to see something like that happening in real time and just seeing having a better understanding of like the effects it has because with technology today everything's so much more transparent.
Yeah.
So
I get what you're saying. Like in a way, it's like because
It's unfortunate though.
yeah, it's definitely unfortunate, but at the same time, at least we can know what's going on in the world and like give our empathy and our condolences and actually know what's going on in this time period. I understand what you mean by that. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
definitely shouts out to them.
yeah. Yo, when you saw that, right? What clip did you see first from that? Because I saw the one where the guy was on the rooftop.
Yeah, that's the one that I seen. That one. And then the second one I seen is when it was like a different angle, and it looked like it was kind of like a highway or freeway type
Yep.
thing, and the next an explosion just went off. Yeah.
Yeah, I seen that one. I saw that was like the last one I saw because I think I seen the one with the chick for her wedding prior to that. But man, like I saw that from a distance. I was just like, fam, like homeboy that was. I don't know why. I'm assuming that he must have just been recording like just the landscape across like the city at that moment.
Yeah, it was a
But
beautiful city.
Yeah.
yeah, and like,
Yeah.
but that explosion, it was just crazy. Like it, just because of like the surface that it was able to cover. But like it, I'm thankful that some people were able to survive it. Unfortunately, there's a large number of people that were unfortunately taken from this explosion. So I believe they said it was like an explosion within in the facility or whatever. I'm not quite sure, but prayers up to those people, man. Prayers up to them.
Yeah, man. The toll, man, it's high. About 100 people died. From what I last read was 4,000 people injured, and that picture that I saw that you sent, Spence, was like it was completely no, you didn't send it, but you posted on your story, and I commented on it.
Yeah.
That it was just like completely eradicated, like it was never there. You know what I mean? It was like it's like when the meteor hit the dinosaurs type shit. And I'm not trying to make a joke or nothing like that, but it was like severe like that. Like
Right.
it wiped them out.
Yeah, I mean, I know someone that told me when they looked at and they're a huge Dragon Ball Z fan, and they were just like after like those big fights and where I guess it's like a spirit bomb or whatever gets thrown and it just like vaporizes just like a huge
Yeah.
portion of things.
Yeah.
It mimics something that you would see out of a cartoon, pretty much. So that shit was just really crazy watching, like really crazy watching, man.
Yeah,
So
man.
sad.
It's wild, and it's like just watching it happen like that. It's like, damn, like I really like. I hope that they get the help they need. I hope that if we have the chance, as a country, we can help them or whatever the case is, and do what we need
Yeah.
to do.
Yeah, well, I mean, there'll be. I'm quite sure there'll be something for people to donate and contribute to. I'm quite sure of it.
Right. Well, I mean, if we're talking about like people who,
Donations.
no, not him, not Dr. Umar. Shouts out to Dr. Umar if I ever see him in Wilmington. But
Yo, you saw where he was smoking a game. He was
God.
smoking. He was smoking. He was smoking a 99-cent game, 2 for $99 game cigars, like they was like Black and Miles or something.
well, funny you should say that. Funny you should bring up Dr. Umar. There's another dude running for president who might, be dealing with these type of affairs, and we got to talk about him. They're saying Kanye West is only running to take away votes from Joe Biden.
Oh, he came out and said that.
Jeez.
So Forbes interviewed him the other day, and they essentially asked him a question. Let me read the quote just so I can actually give y'all some type of context.
Right. Nah,
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. I feel like people knew. I feel like most people, that was the general assumption by most people. But for him to actually come out and just actually say something, or like to just make it president, like, yo, listen, I'm just trying to take some votes away to help my guy out.
Well, for one, he said that he wasn't running for president. He was walking for president. He was walking to the win. So that's number one. In the Forbes article, it says, when it was pointed out that he actually can't win in 2020, that he won't be on enough ballots to yield 270 electoral votes, and that a write-in campaign isn't feasible, thus serving as a spoiler, Kanye replied, "I'm not going to argue with you. Jesus is king."
Yo, see, this is what I'm talking about, yo. Yo, sit here and granted, I'm not trying to be crucified for this, but this is what I've said before. this is just Kanye finds a way of manipulating the media into having a promo run, bro. That's all this is. This is all his presidential campaign was ran on. His campaign was ran off the back of, hey, I need to get myself into certain spaces where minorities aren't as much in terms of where he talked about his points on being like on the board of directors for like Gap and Facebook and so forth. It's like, yo, come on, bro. Like you do all this stuff just so you can get whatever you're pushing out. Like, to end it all off, say, oh, well, Jesus is king. Like, that just lets me know, like, okay, you're done. Since this charade is done, go ahead and promote the music, because that's the only thing that you're doing this for. Like, he does all this shit for attention, bro. Like, I'm a huge Kanye fan, but, like, this is just this is old to me now. This is, like, tiresome, bro. I'm tired of seeing this from Kanye, bro.
So not only that, right, but Kanye West has, they said that he's been meeting with people on Trump's campaign team. He said that he's meeting with Betsy DeVoe, who is well known to be part of. Yeah, exactly.
Isn't she like over education
for Trump? So like, obviously he's highly linked to his team. It only makes sense that if essentially a vote for Trump isn't a vote for Kanye isn't a vote for Trump, but it's a vote away from Biden. And if you can do that, then congratulations, you're helping out the other party.
Oh my god!
I called it. I told y'all that's all this is for. Is just to pull votes away. He hasn't severed any ties with anybody. His relationships are still intact. And what did I say? What did I say, Lau? I said, yo, he does this whole mental health thing. So it leans off the back of, hey, I've been diagnosed with something. That may be true. But I feel as though he exploits this just so he can so it can put him in the media. And what happens? He says all this outlandish stuff, which he has said, but he turns around now and is like, we all discredit it because of mental illness. And now we get to the point where we recognize, now he's like, okay, now we're going to look at him as Kanye on his meds, right? So this is how we're going to just detract it now. But at the same time, all Kanye's doing is just fine. He's telling you, yo, this whole thing is just to steal votes. That's all I've been doing. The whole time, pretty much, he's literally just said, yo, nothing's wrong with me. I exploit it. He's saying it. Read it in between the lines, bro.
He didn't say, yeah, I'm stealing away votes. He said, hey, you're taking away votes. He's like, you know what? Jesus is king. Y'all might be right. He's like, y'all might be right.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm all for mental wellness. Now tell me how Kanye is still having an episode. Go ahead.
No, see, the thing is this. I'm not going to say that Kanye doesn't have mental problems. I'm sure he does have some type of mental issue.
Honestly, I'm at the point where I think this is all a facade. He's like the kid that cried. He's like the boy that cried wolf at this moment to me.
That's a crazy facade then. Like, that's a crazy way to essentially run your career, is like by saying that is your personality that's your public persona, your mental illness. And I would hate if that was the fact. I don't want to say it because I don't know.
I don't know, but at the same time, my thing is, like I said, you could take advantage of something by just saying like, yo, like if you're diagnosed with something, you could be diagnosed. It's pretty much like this, right? You're just taking advantage of whatever you're given. It's like saying, hey, I'm sick. If I'm sick, I just tell the doc, like, all I got to do is just say, well, oh, I'm sick. So can I at least go, can I cut in front of everybody? Cause like, I'm too tired to really stand cause I'm sick. And everybody just says, all right, cool. He's a sick person. But at the same time, nothing's wrong with him. He's taking advantage of it. Like, I'm not really going to go, there's plenty of examples, but I'm not going to go into the details of them. Because, like, but there's plenty of people that take advantage of whatever diagnosis they have, or not plenty, but there are some people that do this. And that's why I look at this whole thing with Kanye it's just a marketing ploy, bro. Like, he's a boy that cried wolf, so God forbid if something happens, it's hard for me to believe it.
Man, I'm done, man. I'm done. I don't want to say too much of it because the last time we spoke about this guy, I was like, man, there's something just fucked up with him mentally. but I have to side with Spence on this one. I have to, but this is. Come on, man. Motherfucker knows what he's doing, man. I'm done, bro. I'm seriously done. Like this. I'm starting to think I have mental illness. Talk about this nigga, bro. Like it's like, what the fuck, man? You gotta know. You gotta know what you're doing. You have to. I'm starting to believe the fucking Kardashians over this nigga, man. I'm starting to believe Kim over this nigga. I'm a lost for words, man. Hey, people, I don't know what your political view is. You know, we actually don't give a fuck what it is. But what Kanye is doing is fucking wrong. It's fucking wrong.
Yeah.
Big time. Spence was right. Spence was fucking right. I gotta eat shit on that one because I gave a whole spill about the mental illness thing because that shit is a real fucking thing. But this nigga is clearly using that shit, you know, for his friend. I remember what he said to Snoop. Snoop, you don't like me because Trump is my friend. You know, dickhead, man. That shit. All right, let's just move on, bro. I don't even know if I'm gonna listen to Donda when that comes out.
Yo, that's all this was for, was just to listen to his music, man. Hate to say it, but I mean, at least I put it like this. And in the unfortunate events, like I think Kanye looks at some of this like professional wrestling, and like you would think maybe you would want to be like a model citizen. Like, granted, like I get like he's taking the Ric Flair persona more of, but just being a little quote unquote having mental illness issues, right? But like you look at someone like The Rock, right?
Yeah.
Wrestler had established a lot of success for himself, all of this type of stuff, and then now he goes off to buy like an NFL team or XFL team. Granted, you see someone like Kanye, and you're saying like he's very off of the reservation to some extent, right? But you say like, yo, if you want to treat this like pro wrestling or whatever, like I get the persona, like we all are tied in, but you look at someone like The Rock and you say, well, listen, sometimes you don't need antics. Sometimes you just can just put the music out. Like I think Kanye in his case, I think he realizes without the antics, his numbers are just gonna be poor.
Man, I would vote for The Rock if The Rock was running for president. I would vote for him over Kanye West. And the nigga's not even running for president. You know, I would vote for the fucking great one. One of the goats of the goddamn game. And he's more fucking civilized than fucking, is Trump, you mad because Trump is my friend type nigga. Like, it's fucking mind-blowing, man. It just... So
since you support The Rock so much, you gonna watch the XFL?
Absolutely. I'm gonna watch The Rock shit 100%. I support the thing. I think it's a dope business move for the nigga. You know, listen. Tell
the people what the move was, because some of them they probably don't even know what's going on.
So the XFL was a alternate football league that I can't confirm or deny that it was in direct competition with the NFL, but it was a league where players who didn't get drafted from college or couldn't really make it in the NFL, this is where a spot for them. And it was a good place to go. And Vince McMahon was heading the organization. But the pandemic happened. It really fucked up the money for the organization to the point that they were facing bankruptcy. Well, The Rock and his business partner, Danny Garcia, and a company that I'm not familiar with, maybe you guys are, I don't know, called Redbird Capital, they bought the XFL for $15 million and saved it from being bankrupt. So now The Rock is a co-owner with Danny Garcia and whomever is at Redbird Capital that's pulling the strings. Now they own the XFL. I think it's a great move. I think it's, you know, a big-ass move for somebody like The Rock, right? You know, it's not every day that you hear black celebrities buying out big shit outright. You know what I mean? Facts. It has been done before, but it's not a common thing. So the fact that you got The Rock doing that is pretty cool. Everybody likes The Rock. You hear no bad shit about The Rock or nothing like that too. So for him to buy this company, I think it's a great deal. Look what he's done with the show that he's doing on NBC right now, the Titan Games, right? It's kind of athletic competition type of thing. So it obviously comes from pro wrestling, even though we all know it's scripted. So it's not out of his realm. You know what I mean?
Right.
He definitely got the bread for it. So I just feel like it's not a bad move. If he does it right with his partners, he can help bring the market of football back. Now, the thing is, there's people like Dana White that's trying to advise him and help him to do it the right way, and he believes that The Rock should do it right now. And he also believes that The Rock should have like some type of bubble for the XFL to succeed. And I kind of agree with Dana White, right? Because look at the UFC, they're doing well right now. The NBA, they came back, they're doing well in the bubble too. So the bubble format might work out for The Rock as well. I mean, obviously there's some logistics, like, getting the teams together, getting players to come out for the teams and shit like that.
Right.
But it was a dope move, nevertheless,
Well, I mean, in my opinion, I feel like I think it's a cool move for The Rock, regardless of, what he plans to do with it at this point in time. I think, however, for him to be successful with this move, Vince McMahon brought the XFL back for this recent run. I think it was only to be like a feeder league for people to eventually like sign back with the NFL and just kind of like maybe like, be like maybe not starters, but to be, backups for certain players and whatnot.
So it's pretty much like the European leagues that they used to have.
Somewhat like that.
They would use sometimes. They would use the European leagues as like D-League pretty much teams.
Right, yeah, somewhat like that. And I think if it's working as a feeder league, then it could actually be pretty successful. Just not to the point where it's like, I think if you're going in competition with the NFL, then I think that's kind of the bad move to go by. Like, don't do that unless like you're well established first. The NFL's been around for too long.
Yeah, I mean, I think if the NFL has been around way too long, it's not to say it can't be done. The amount of work that it would take, and it still rests on like on a coin toss, is not really worth it. But like you said, like I agree with that. Like if The Rock builds this up as a quote unquote a feeder league, and like being an ex-athlete because he used to play he came up playing football anyway.
Yeah,
like he played with like Warren Sapp and everybody. So
yeah,
like he's seen what elite level athletes can do when it comes to football. So hopefully he's able to leverage like a lot of the things that he's done in his past to kind of help move him forward through this league. Dana's right though. I ain't gonna hold you. Like he really needs to put the sport on right now, because I think it's better to set everything up now before the games start. Because like you look at baseball right now, you have some teams saying like, yo, I'm not, some players, and you have teams saying like, yo, I'm not even going to come play.
Right.
You know what I mean? So when you have those type of situations, you might want to really be like, yo, let's put something out now. Have players playing so they're able to put money back in their pocket. And if it's football nonetheless, the world is going to watch it.
Right.
Like,
Exactly.
yeah.
It may not be the best football you want to watch, but you have more people that's inclined to watch it just because it's a sport. So
not only that, but I mean, like you have some of these players out there who, regardless if the world was in a good spot or not, they wouldn't be playing right now because they're not going to make it on the team. So it's like, I'm sure there's some people who are hungry for the chance to either play or prove themselves to try to get back in the NFL or just to be able to play, period.
Yep. Yeah. Absolutely, man. And when Spence was saying like it's, it might not be as good, people will tune in, and that's right. Like look at college, like the college national championships. They treat that shit like the fucking Super Bowl for college, and we all know because you're a superstar at college doesn't mean that you're gonna be the shit in the NFL. But people still tune in, so you're right. People will tune into the XFL if The Rock and his partners could get this shit, on and popping the right way.
yeah, I mean we'll have to wait to see what happens. I think The Rock. I think what The Rock is doing though. I think this would be something transcending for a lot of other like entertainers and just other people, other minorities that have wealth that want to actually purchase a team to some capacity. Because I know Diddy at one point was trying to buy like the Panthers or something, and I know that deal didn't work out in his favor. And I think Jay-Z ended up getting himself in a space where he was able to work. All I know, he was able to work himself in a space to do some partnership with the NFL or some teams.
Right.
So hopefully this breaks way for even something to that capacity for these entertainers.
Yeah, and to piggyback off of the Jay-Z thing, Jay-Z got Rock Nation Sports, so celebrities are starting to tune in to the sports thing. I won't be surprised, like 10 years down the road, you'll start to see more black celebrities starting to being more involved in sports, not so much the athletics, but on the executive side of things, the business side of things. Right. But you want to know who the first person to really fucking do that and come from the entertainment business?
Oh, the person at Twitter said is who when you think of Diddy, this is who you really think of.
I was gonna say Master P. Was that the answer?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I never heard anybody say that.
Yeah, I saw a tweet actually the other day that just said like Diddy, like Master P is who you think Diddy is. Like, yeah. Like when you think to some extent there's some truth in that.
Okay.
100%. So like Master P, just real quick on the sports thing, he had his own sports agency group, and the top guy he had was fucking Ricky Williams. And if you're a football guy, yeah,
Jesus.
he had fucking
serious?
Ricky hot fresh out of fucking college. He had Ricky Williams sign on his sports agency. He had NBA players on his shit too. Like, he was the first motherfucker to do that shit from that side of the entertainment business. You know what I mean? And so it said he was a pioneer. But speaking of the Don, OG Don, he just had a documentary series right now that's going on BET. It's called the No Limit Chronicles. If you guys have on demand or whatever like that, it's on there. But
I have to watch it.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it out. Do you like it?
Yes, I do. I like it.
That's the real question.
Is it good?
Yeah, it's good because it's very informative. Like, he will go ahead and explain like where I'm at right now in the series, because it's still going on. It won't be finished for another few weeks. But where I'm at right now in the series, and when you guys catch up, he's explaining like the rise. He's also explaining, how they were the first black like label to be independent, yada yada, and then some of the tension that he had to deal with and all that shit like that. It's really kind of like, yo, this man, he did everything on his own. And like one of the standout things in that documentary that I was like, holy shit. So he got a distribution deal with Priority Records, right? And a little history, Priority Records and the people with Ice Cube, he came in there and he smashed the fucking window. Yeah. So they wanted to sign him, but he was like, nah, I want a distribution deal. I want 85%. You guys take 15. So basically, they're not going to front him any money or nothing. All they're doing is just distributing his fucking music at record stores, wherever you can buy music.
Yeah, just putting the music out.
So, you know what I mean? He had to make his own fucking money. He had to go out there promote, and he did everything on his own. He was putting out like 20 albums out a fucking year, and he was getting rich. And not only he was just putting, it wasn't like Lil B shit, right? Where Lil B would put out tons of music, and the only way you would know about here,
Lil B, man.
if you're a Lil B fan, this nigga Lil B, I mean not Lil B, Master P, his albums were going platinum for this nigga. His artists like Silk the Shocker, they was going platinum, gold, and shit like that. It was fucking crazy, man. That's fucking crazy.
When you put it like that, it's kind of crazy because you start thinking like, as a kid, I remember seeing all of them like plastered everywhere. It seemed like
their album covers were classic.
Yeah,
them and fucking Cash Money, man. I love those album covers. They're so funny.
Did you ever watch the video? There's actually a video, I think, like a little documentary or something, like 20 minutes of the guy that created all of those.
Really?
No,
yeah.
I think I know what you're talking about. I didn't watch it, but I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's pretty dope. Like, I think I forget the whole story, but he kind of gives some insight as to like how he kind of started making them, and then what albums he first did, and then it just kind of, I think he did it like with like Cash Money. I think it was like one of the early Cash Money albums or Master P albums, I think, or maybe 3-6, because 3-6 Mafia had similar covers, I think.
Yeah.
And he was like, it was one of them, and then it just took off. Like, it was just a popular type of style, so everybody just ran with it like wildfire. But back to P though, like realizing everything that they went through, and and granted, I haven't watched the whole thing. I haven't watched the thing at all yet. But understanding, like, yo, P did all of that independently. He was on TV and everything like that, and it's totally different compared to today, where I think artists have more access to taking the independent route, but still a lot of young artists especially take the deal route of, just because they don't want, sometimes people don't want to put the legwork in more often than not.
You just hit the nail on the head. Yeah, that was the thing that Master P was kind of saying. Some artists didn't have the hustle on them, and that's why he's in the Forbes list. That's why his net worth is a 9-figure amount today. You know what I mean? Because he got the hustle on him. You know what I mean? He said it. He'll say it multiple times. You guys will hear it. He didn't get into the rap game because he wanted to be a fucking rapper. He got in the rap game because he wanted to make some money and get out the fucking hood. Because he was tired of selling drugs. Lil Romeo was just a little boy. He didn't want to die and his son grow up without a father and shit like that. He was sick of that shit. So he was like, I'm gonna fucking rap. And then, it went from him opening up for Tupac, for him getting that distribution deal, to him now being one of the biggest fucking artists in the fucking 90s. Jeez. And he was signed to nobody. Like, he was the fucking label. This nigga owned his own fucking building, like studio building, all this shit. This nigga had all sorts of ventures. And mind you, the nigga still went and played NBA. He went into the NBA. Yeah. Master P did 3 things that all niggas dream to do. This nigga sold drugs. This nigga played basketball. And this nigga rapped.
Jesus, man.
He did all 3 things in his fucking lifetime. Technically 4. The nigga's a businessman. So and I think he's just off the strength of what he did. He got to be a GOAT. He got to be a GOAT. Just off the strength of what he did. We're not talking about music quality or nothing. Just what he's done in a rap game. He has to be a GOAT, bro. He got to.
I feel like he is. I mean, I think when Solange did her clip from him,
yep.
I think it was called like The GOAT Speaks or some shit like that, I think. But even in that, even from listening to those clips and like looking up, just knowing my history on them, like, he hands down Master P's a GOAT. Like, he's not, now granted, we all understand he's not like the lyrical guy, so that's cool and all. But like, he's hands down what he's done. He laid the groundwork for pretty much all of music. Anybody that decided to take an independent route, granted, you got people like him, Tech Nine, and I can't think of anybody offhand. Well, I know Benny the Butcher's. I think Benny the Butcher's independent, despite him. I think he's managed by Griselda and Rockefeller, or Rock Nation. But when you look at it, it's just like, yo, fam, to do what he did in the era that he did it, where there was no technology like that, you didn't have the luxuries of, hey, let me just go on social media. Like, I've seen interviews where he was saying, like, we would ride out and go someplace where only maybe 3 or 4 people going to show up to our music, and then we're going to come back again next week or whenever our next show is out there. If it was 2 people last time, maybe it'll be 5. Then the time after that, it's going to be 10. Like, you really mashing the grass when you trying to go, when you're hustling to that extent, because that's a lot of people don't have that dog in them.
No, not at all.
Not at all.
You want to get a Nipsey Hussle without someone like him.
And he actually mentioned Nipsey in his latest Breakfast Club interview that he felt bad that Nipsey had to go because he felt like Nipsey had that mentality that he had. And Master P, man, he was strictly business. He was a boss about his shit, right? One little clip, and I don't want to spoil everything because I believe that you guys will tune into it.
Right. I'm watching that shit tonight.
Like when Mystical, remember when Mystical was part of No Limit?
Yeah.
So Mystical, he was caught up when the prior label that he was at. They were like, "Hey, look, Mystical is $370,000 in a hole. We're not letting him go. We need that shit back." Man, people pulled out checkbook, signed it, and Mystical was signed that day.
Damn.
Yeah, bro, he was about his shit.
Jesus, man. Yeah, Mystical owes him a lot. Then that's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Like, for real. Because if you think
I didn't know that.
No, like if you think about it, like the reason we know, how we know Mystical is like after all that No Limit shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just kind of crazy. But now,
Yeah, I always thought Mystical just came up with No Limit. I didn't know he was like I didn't know it was a situation like that, similar to like Pac or something like that.
Yeah.
but it's crazy when you brought up Master P playing in the NBA. Like, I'm not sure if you heard recently, but
J.
apparently,
Cole.
yeah, J. Cole is gonna be trying out for the Pistons or something along those lines, and Wale said he wants to be a running back for the next XFL. So
I
yeah,
think I think Wale actually would have. I mean, I don't know how athletic he is, but if he does have some talent, kind of like Quavo, right? Quavo's kind of skill. Yeah, he could probably get in the XFL. Now J Cole to the NBA. I'm not saying it's not possible, right? Because Master P he went to the NBA, but Master P touches on it too. The politics in the NBA is a lot.
Right.
So that's what my whole J Cole back to. You know what I mean?
right,
It's the
But
politics.
but at the same time, I think J. Cole is also in a unique position where like the person that runs his label, Jay-Z, is the person that owns Rock Nation Sports.
right,
Yeah.
So they have sport connect. They have he would be able to be the one that have the connections for sports. At the end of the day, more than likely, they J. Cole he probably just made an agreement like, yo, listen, I need I need at least like I need an album and that's it, and then you can bounce. So like I think when you have something like that, you recognize like, yo, it is what it is. I'll be interested to see what happens, but definitely knowing someone like Master P, right? Having just being one of those people to come from like those situations that he came from that Lau was talking about, and then bringing himself out of it. It's like it's something really great to see because I think when you look at a lot of the younger artists today, especially like definitely the ones like some of the ones that came through our era, but especially the kids now, they're like quick to be like, yo, some not all, but you have some of them that are like, yo, I'd rather just stay independent. You know what I mean? And sometimes it's unfortunate, like to see something happen to them because I think some of them have the potential to be in a Master P at some capacity. Now it's not guaranteed with all of them, but like I'm not sure if y'all heard the news, but like someone like FBG Duck, right?
right.
Who's for listeners for people that are listening that may not know who he is, he's actually a rapper out of Chicago that he's known. He has some notoriety to him. He may not be. He's not like the most popular one or whatever, but he unfortunately from I actually watched the live with Lupe Fiasco finding out the information, and even Lupe Fiasco was saying like he was he was killed. He was shot at like in downtown, which would have been the equivalent of someone getting shot like in Times Square, pretty much. So he was shot multiple times. Him and like two or three other people, I believe. And unfortunately, I don't think the killers have been caught. He was rushed to medics where he was pronounced dead. Unfortunately, so it's sad. Like I'm not sure exactly what may have led up to that situation. Granted, he had a lot of issues in the street already, I think, or he had issues in the street before. Because just from seeing different interviews, you could tell. I guess he had moved up to being like one of the bigger homies. I'm assuming. So I'm not quite sure what the situation was. Probably some shit from the street, but it's unfortunate nonetheless. Like to have an artist that who knows what could have happened to him. So
Yeah.
like my
Yeah.
prayers and condolences go out to his family, man.
Definitely RIP, man. Like, it's unfortunate when we have to see anybody like, go through that, and it it sucks when you see that light kind of just taken away from artists that are relatively like I should say like either underground or just like to the point where they haven't got to the point where they're kind of put more towards like the forefront of the rap, I should say, of our genre
Right.
culture,
Right.
however you want to say it.
Yeah, it's unfortunate when artists like that they go a little early. They go early and they're like you said, they're at like that mid tier or that tier that's not necessarily that goes discovered as well. So
Pop Smoke.
it yeah, it's unfortunate. Also, please, people, the internet is so funny, man, because the internet kept making the jokes about I guess he's not from or they said, well, he's from 63rd and I'm not from 63rd or some shit like. that like people gotta. This is like one of the moments where, granted, I get the jokes and everything, but it's like yo, this right now ain't even really one of the moments unless you like from that space. I feel like it's not even the time to really joke around about that shit.
Well, you know how it
Yeah,
goes. Like for some reason, people like to joke around about the street shit when they're nowhere near that area or nowhere near involved, and it's just like
Yeah.
you
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 remember
get
Slim Jesus?
yeah. I mean, and we all saw what happened when he started to get questioned about that shit. It's like you can't play around. Some people take this shit very seriously, and it's like you should be very wise as to what you're speaking of before you speak on it.
Yeah, I mean, unless you follow someone like your man's. So
well, I mean, like to some Jesus credit though, as soon as he was questioned about it, he was honest. He was like, "Yeah, man, I'm not. That's not the lifestyle I really live. It's just all for the music," and nobody really bothered him after that. I mean, granted, his career went into the fucking toilet faster than what people predicted because it was probably going to be a toilet career anyway. But
it was.
but nobody took a shit on him for it because they're like, well, he told the truth, and people respect people who tell the fucking truth. You know
Yeah,
what I
true.
mean? I
Yeah.
I I agree with Spence, man. If you're not from Chirac and you're not with that whole fucking war that they going on within that fucking community amongst the two parties and all that shit, it's kind of corny for you to be talking on it like from not a respectful standpoint. Like we're giving our condolences, because a human being lost his life, unfortunately, right?
Facts.
But we're not talking the street politics of it because one, we're not involved in none of that shit, so we really don't know the meat and potatoes of it.
Right.
And then two, it's corny because it's none of our business to try to depict what the fuck happened. You know what I mean? It just sucks that a human being lost their fucking life, and as a rapper that we know of, I'm not gonna sit there and shoot the and fake the funk and say I was a fan because I'm not. I didn't really listen to his music, but it sucked that he died. You know what I mean? Like when
Facts.
Lil Peep died, I was like, I don't care for the guy's music, but it sucks that he died. You know what I mean? That's how I feel.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, but know what was more cryptic? I think with Duck, though it was there like he like it's when you have artists like this where sometimes they're very conscious of the environments that they're from, right? And you see someone like Duck in interviews where he's like, yeah, it was a Vlad interview he did where he was just saying like how like there was days where he would think like I sometimes I think any day I could die just because of just being out, just the life living and so on and so forth. But I feel like this is just like one of the wake up signs for artists to know, like, especially with it being within his own city. Granted, it was downtown from what I'm hearing, but like it's best for artists just to move. When you get the money, just move out of your city, man. Relocate because a lot of times the hate that you gonna get is from where you from. At the end of the day, like Boosie said, hypnotized with hatred.
Well, I
Like,
mean, XXX Tentacion, like when he was shot, like it was in Florida, you know what I mean? Like he was out just looking at motorcycles and shit, and apparently they had been plotting on him. And unfortunately,
yeah,
his life was taken away too. And I think he actually would have been like he would have had an interesting career if he would still be alive just because of the type of music he was making. He wasn't just some like regular dude. It's unfortunate.
I th- I think
right.
I think he was kind of like a pioneer of
Yeah.
a little bit what we're hearing right now, for real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
He was leading
like,
the wave.
Yeah,
yeah, he
I
was leading. He was definitely leading a wave, and it just sucks. RP to him.
yeah. Well, I was just gonna say it's sad. It really is sad. It's sad. I think like definitely like someone like X is a pioneer. Um, I think you say to yourself like just moving forward, like just you got to be thankful for the artists that you have while they're here, just because you never know what can happen. But like even like I was looking on Instagram just earlier today, and I saw where Fabio, like he was actually another artist that was about to get that. He actually wasn't in his own city. He was in Atlanta, and apparently I guess he got in like a shootout or whatever, or he was shot. I know that, but I guess his team got into a shootout with a group of individuals from what I'm hearing. But luckily Fabio survived the shots apparently. So
It's great. It's great that he's alive. You know what I mean?
What led to that? Do you know?
So it's not, no one can really say exactly, but the general assumption would be, I looked at, like, it's like like a 90-second clip of just different of his Snapchat or his Instagram or whatever, his Insta snaps, his Insta stories or whatever the shit is, but it was his, or like one of his people's or whatever. So it looked like they were just posting everything, every step that they were taking while they were in Atlanta. And of course, I'm assuming by the time, because you're seeing clips of, like, they got like they got gun, they got straps and everything with them and all of that. But you see, like, they're on a highway, that you see them taking pictures and posting videos and all of that, and then next thing you know is they're in front of 1145 and the whole whip got shot up. So I'm assuming it has something to do with them just posting every move that they're putting on social media, similar to the Pop Smoke situation, unfortunately.
Yep. That's exactly what I was thinking. Like, it's just crazy how you get caught in the wrong place on social media in general, and that could lead to your death or like somebody getting hurt around you. Like, it's fucked up, but some people are out there plotting and waiting for the chance, you know. And as soon as they have that little bit of information they need, they're using it.
Yeah, it's fucked up. Like, I know, like, I lived in Atlanta for a little bit, so like I understand, like, if you're around somewhere long enough, especially if I'm from somewhere, like, we all had those moments. You can see someone's Insta story or whatever, and it's like, oh, I know exactly where you at, just because I could tell that where that cage is or where that fence is. Oh, I know that fence is near 85. Oh, it looked like, oh, where he gonna be at tonight? Oh, he gonna be at 11:45. Bet. So, in person, honestly, to me, I don't even like 11:45. To be honest with you, it's like, I ain't even got to go into that, but nah, because it was like I had a bad. I'm not gonna say I had a bad club experience, but it was just a weird experience being at 11:45. That was like my first time being in a club in Atlanta for the first time.
Was the
So,
hood like was it like near the hood, or all the hood people
um,
be pulling up in that?
like, I mean, it not to me. It just seemed like it was just like a regular, like, party that another, like, because I think it was by DJ Ruggs. DJ Ruggs was hosting it. Fab was there that night, and like it was cool, but it's like a lounge type of spot. So, like, pretty much you gotta pay for a bottle pretty much to sit anywhere to really do anything, because it's pretty much all just seating areas. So it was cool, but it wasn't really my thing. And, like, I don't know, it was certain things I just noticed while I was out there at that thing, that it wasn't my favorite thing, but it wasn't that bad of an area. It was, to me, it didn't come across as bad. Like, it just seemed like any spot that you would go to, or like it would just be like any other type of situation we would be at, if, like, you let, and the club let out and all of that type of shit. So
Well, before we move on, speaking of like Atlanta clubs, I see that I was watching Gucci store on Instagram. Apparently, people are doing like pop ups and appearances now in Atlanta. So I wonder if that led to a reason why he was out in Atlanta in the first place. So
more than likely, so he probably was trying to chase a bag. That's had to be it, like, because I think only Florida and Atlanta are like the two epic centers right now for, like, activity by people. So I wouldn't be surprised. My question is, like, when should you just not post something on social media?
I
shouldn't
follow
push
this.
the guns.
Yeah, you definitely
You
shouldn't
said
post
what?
your guns.
Oh, absolutely.
But I follow this YouTuber, and apparently he was
The
going
homeless one?
on vacation. Say it again.
The homeless one?
No, not that one.
Uh,
No, he was on vacation with his family, and I guess he said, like, yeah, I'm in this other state, da 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 da, so on and so on. So I guess while he was gone, somebody tried to break into his house while his wife and kid was there. And it's just the thing, like, if you're a known person, there's somebody probably watching and waiting. That's just it. You just have to be careful. Like, not to say that you can't ever post where you are, but maybe you should be very aware of what could happen and what's at stake for things that are going on when you're not home. And if you don't have security and things
OPSEC.
like that, yeah, if you don't have security like that, then it's like somebody is liable to try and break into your shit. Imagine if I just had like millions of dollars in my house and like, or I was suspected to have a lot of money in my house, and I told my neighbor, I was like, yeah, man, I'm about to be gone for a month. I hope nothing happens to my house. And they're like, yeah, it'd be sad, man. And then I get back and millions of dollars are gone. It's like, could have been anybody.
That's why niggas don't, like, when they win the lotto, they be telling other people to claim it for them and shit, because they don't want people to be knowing that they got all this fucking money, because you're going to get a lot of fake love coming out the woodwork, or people that's just trying to rob you and potentially kill you to take your shit.
Right.
You can pay for them not to list your name, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it costs I think they take like a third or some shit of your winnings or whatever. So.
Hey, fuck
I'm
it.
cool.
Say it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm cool with it, but
it's free money anyway, right? So,
but you
it's kind of
you
like
would think.
It's kind of like when they tax your shit, right? When they tax it, they're like, hey, you can either pay every year or we'll take this cutting out. Hey, let Uncle Sam do his thing, because he's undisputed and undefeated anyway. So,
Facts.
take your cut right now, and so this way you don't gotta bother me next year.
Undisputed champion.
Yeah.
Facts. Exactly.
Hey man,
he really be on his shotgun shook shit when it come to niggas' pockets, man.
I'm just saying, there's three things that's undefeated in the entire world: Uncle Sam, Mother Nature, and Father Time, nigga. Those are the undefeatable.
Yeah, you're right. I was
undefeatable.
Well, we don't have to talk about that. I was just watching this shit. This guy like really patting this guy's pockets during a battle. And he's like, "What you got?" Like this shit was like wild. I'm like, "Yo, relax, man."
Jesus, man.
That shit was funny. Like he was really patting his pockets. I was like, okay.
Yo, speaking of battle, nigga. Now that you mention it, Rick Ross and 2 Chainz. Did y'all guys watch that shit?
Yeah, bro. I missed it when it first came on, right? So I actually ended up having to play it on Apple Music, bro. I knew I knew Ross was gonna win, right?
Yeah.
And well, did anybody else watch it?
I didn't watch it, so I'm waiting for you to say what you're gonna say.
All I saw was highlights, and I saw people make comments saying that the energy was low. That was it.
Well, I watched some of it, but I listened to it a couple of times. Man, Ross got 2 Chainz up out of there. Like, and don't get me wrong, 2 Chainz. I think 2 Chainz would have competed against other, maybe like a more formidable opponent, but Ross, between the ear that Ross has, the way he talks, that shit on the record, bar none, bro. Like, he started off the battle with "Every Day I'm Hustling," like. He started off the battle with a heavyweight, and he just came in on some fly shit. Yeah, it's Port of Miami. You in Miami right now, Dade County. Hey, yo, play that real quick.
He's hard. I fuck with Ross. I fuck with 2 Chainz too.
Facts.
I think the battle would have been better, and maybe you guys might be disagreeing with me. I think a better battle for 2 Chainz would have been somebody like Jeezy or T.I. You know what I mean?
Those would have been harder.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I think Ross just got okay. Maybe I agree with T.I. Maybe T.I. would have been harder, but I don't know about Jeezy though, man. Because you know what I mean. Can we really say the same about Jeezy? I feel like Jeezy when he first came out, he was hitting heavy, but in his later years,
I feel.
You know what I mean? Like.
I agree with you on that in terms of later years, but at the same time, I still gotta go with Jeezy just because he has enough between songs and actual like features. He's gonna have enough, and like he was a bigger artist and he was on bigger songs overall, like that were more like captivating, I think. So I gotta go with Jeezy, but I feel like Chainz would have did better against honestly, I think he would have did better against an artist like Meek, or I could have seen him actually go against someone like Pusha T, but Pusha T, like of his solo catalog, not Clips Pusha T. Clips Pusha T, no, you're not, because it's too much. The bag is too deep. But I definitely have to go with Pusha T, not with Pusha T. I will go with Pusha T and who else? Pusha T, Meek Mill, and I'm not sure who else, but the battle itself was pretty good though, man. That's one thing I can say. Like,
Well, you know, they're saying that the next versus battle should be the biggest one, supposedly.
after watching this battle, especially, I think there should be something where they're doing it twice, like where they make it more of a bracket,
Okay.
more of like because someone like Rick Ross, he touched on like a bunch of good songs, and granted, there's some Drake features in there, but at the same time, I'm like, yo, Ross kind of gave you like some A sides. Like if you can let him play a couple B side records, also where he talks, because he has an extensive catalog.
Right.
Like I think he's someone that I would love to have seen like go against someone like Chainz, because I think in terms of seeds, I think he would be. I think Chainz is a low seed in the competition in comparison to Ross. I think if those two were to battle, I think that would have been an appropriate one for Ross to move on to the next round.
Yeah, I can see that. And I think Ross is kind of the way he's looked at in the game right now. He's not, just like you said, they're just two different calibers of artists. And that's no, slight to 2 Chainz, because 2 Chainz is not to be slept on, but at the same point in time, it's like, it's Rick Ross. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's the thing, like from listening to Ross's catalog, like with no disrespect to 2 Chainz, like he was putting out some shit. Don't get me wrong, he was putting out a banger.
I think he actually did better than a lot of people thought he was.
But see, that's the thing. He did good. I think he did well, but I think he got blown out. I got him losing like maybe like 15-5.
I didn't have it that close. I don't know about that. Like,
yeah, like I had him losing 15-5.
I had him taking like 8 of those rounds.
Nah, I could. To me, I had to give it. I only had him win about 5, just because he had a better start. He had a better run in the second half of the battle, just because he was able to start off the round. Like Raw starting off the rounds, it's like, fam, you gonna have a hard time because he can play something like Aston Martin music or Every Day I'm Hustling or something to that nature. Excuse me. You gonna have a hard time, bro.
So here's my thing, right? And we touched on this last week when we were talking about it. Like the longer the playlist is, the harder the shit gets for 2 Chainz. This is what it is. So I'm curious as to who thought to play 23 tracks instead of the 20. Because once I saw it went past 20, I was just like, oh shit, like that's just more time for Ross to shine.
Yeah, but I think that was because there was because they lost count, because they were just going back and forth, and I think they didn't switch over until like track 12, I think.
Okay.
Because Ross was just like, because what's supposed to happen is that track 10, 2 Chainz is supposed to go twice, and he ended up going. They just kept going back and forth till they got to like after 11, and then Ross was like, "Yo, I'll keep going." He was like, "Yo, I'll just keep going," and then they were like, "Nah, let's switch it up." So that's the reason that's the only reason why there were extra songs on this one.
Okay.
Yo, there's only one versus that I want to see now. Jeezy versus Gucci. That's Stone Cold versus The Rock. Michael Jordan versus Kobe.
That's Stone Cold versus Steve Austin.
Yeah, for real.
The real life shit.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, man. It's that'd be a good one. That'd be a good one. Of course, Big Guwap will win, but
right.
That'd be a good one.
I mean, I think I would go with. Who would you have on that?
Gucci, easily.
Yeah, I'm going with Gucci also, but I put like this. I think Jeezy has overall. He may have better quality. Well, if you're picking 20 top quality songs from Gucci, Gucci's probably gonna win. I was just gonna say I could see someone going for Jeezy, but I gotta go with Gucci.
I mean, Lyle's biased. Let's just point that out first and foremost.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like
a bias
towards Gucci.
You do have a
strong
bias.
Come on, you telling me you're not biased towards Gucci at all? Okay, so
Yo,
that's all I'm
Gucci
saying.
fan.
That's all I know.
But
that's
fine.
You're
But am I right though?
I'm not saying that Jeezy's gonna win. I'm just saying that you're biased. So, like, of course you're gonna choose Gucci.
He's straddling the fence.
Who, me?
Yeah, you straddling the fence.
Gucci takes it. I'm not gonna say he doesn't, but you're biased.
You saying that because you scared of Gucci?
Of course, yeah. I'm frightful of him. I hope he doesn't come and like just take me out of my house. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying Lyle's biased. That's all.
Man.
But what was the point of saying that if you're gonna go like?
Because
you're biased, but I agree with you. But you're
no,
biased.
because you're a Gucci fan, well-known Gucci fan. Like everybody knows that. Like he's like your boy. You used to hang out at David's house and he would fall asleep listening to Gucci. Like he's biased towards Gucci. Like that's
how much of a
saying.
fan you have to be. That's hardcore fan shit, man.
Like falling asleep listening to Gucci and OJ. It's like okay, like
I was fucking with the Gucci, man. That's a legend, bro. He's a legend.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean he's a legend.
He is. So let me ask you this then. Like speaking of like matchups, right? I know Gucci versus Jeezy, I would love to see, but we know that's not happening because of that whole beef thing. Even they talked about it on T.I.'s joint, and I think they got rid of it. I don't know, but like what? So these are well, this is another battle that people are pushing for right now, and it's Drake versus Kanye.
Drake, 100%.
Kanye takes it.
No, Drake takes that shit easily. Drake takes it.
If we're talking about
if we're talking about 2010 Drake, then we got an argument. But we're talking 2020 Drake versus Kanye now. Easily
top
Drake,
20.
Bro.
Are we
top 20 hits?
Top 20 hits. Drake, man, come on.
Like, I don't think it's that clear cut, man. Like when you think about it, like come on, man. We're talking about fucking Kanye. Like it's not like we're talking about like some random dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Kanye is a legend. Absolutely, he'll go down as a GOAT. But I mean, despite his mental issues, but come on, man. You put Drake versus Kanye, the LeBron versus who? Who could you compare Kanye to in the NBA? And I'm pretty sure somebody up there, he'd be like Vince Carter. Nah, that's disrespectful.
KD.
Nah,
I think he calls himself the KD of rap.
Kanye says that.
Yeah, I think he called himself the KD of rap before.
I don't know, man, because
it depends on what catalog we're taking from Kanye as well. Because if we're talking about like,
I mean, we taking 20 hits from his whole career.
We're talking about producer credits as well. Or we're talking about like his songs. Because if we're talking about shit,
songs,
well, no,
songs and features and anything he's written for somebody.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like, I think that's not as clear cut as you would make it seem. I'm not saying Drake won't win, but I'm saying that because look, let's be real. Drake, at the end of the day, he could probably go 40 hits with somebody easily. You know what I mean? And that's fine. But I mean, I think just to say that, he's gonna blow Kanye out the water, I think that's saying a lot.
No, so let me clarify. I'm not saying it's gonna be like 20-0. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all. I just think that Drake will win. I think the first 2 rounds is going to be competitive. Then you're going to start to see the difference in that third round moving forward.
That's fair enough.
I'm just saying that like I said, if you're talking about 2010 Drake, 2011 Drake, we have an argument for sure. But you talk about 2020 Drake now, I don't know, man. I have to take the light skinned God, man.
I think it really depends on what songs like Kanye picks because he has to be kind of careful. Like if we're talking about like earlier Kanye, man, like especially you're talking about Late Registration, like all the songs off of there, like you're talking about a period of songs.
He's gonna compete, but Kanye, he might try to put the Life of Pablo songs on there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I'm thinking, if it's Kanye, who knows what he's gonna pull out of his bag?
Knowing Kanye, I wouldn't be
on there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, knowing Kanye, I wouldn't be surprised if he's like, "Yo, I'm gonna just play the Donda Project."
Oh my god, man! It's like, come on.
Imagine the numbers that it would do if he played an exclusive of him just playing every track from Donda. The numbers would be crazy.
They would be.
Yeah.
They would be.
But unfortunately, I don't think that's a battle that's going to happen because obviously, both niggas, they don't fuck with each other neither. So
yeah, unfortunately, I know some people are saying like they would love to see a Drake versus Wayne, which I would
That'd be
actually,
good.
yeah, I would be excited for that. Definitely, we can get like some of the mixtape Waynes,
Right.
like
Yeah.
the
Right.
because I started listen, I was listening to Dedication 3 earlier this week, and I was just like, damn, like there's no way anybody can argue that Wayne wasn't like one of the nicest at one moment in time,
At
man.
one point in time, man, like that's the thing. Like it kind of kills me with Wayne because a lot of people like put Wayne in their top rappers. And I'm not gonna hate anybody who does that. Like I respect that. But but I feel like
Strong, but
but at the same point in time, it's just the way he's fallen. I don't even want to say that.
fall from grace
The direction his career has taken isn't one that necessarily shines the brightest on him, is what I'll say
for Wayne.
for Wayne.
I mean,
When you
but I
talk
think
about goat talk, when you're referencing goat talk,
I'm just talking about like just his career in general. You know what I
I
mean?
mean, but but I think at the same time, he had like Wayne was the biggest artist in the world.
I respect that.
Like he was the biggest artist in the world for like at least a year or two.
Possibly
So
three
yeah,
for like a period in time.
yeah, like there was a period like I would say 2006 to 2010 or 2009 was Wayne's run. Like Wayne was the number one. He became the number one guy from somewhere in 2006, 2007 all the way to 2008, 2009.
I would argue and say 2005, right? Because was it the Carter came out like 2000? Carter 2 came out like 2005 ish, right?
Yeah, I think
4 ish,
so.
5 ish. Yeah, man. I honestly Wayne in the mid 2000s to the late 2000s before it hit the tens, he was the face of the rap game.
Right.
Whether you fucking
Yeah.
like this music or not,
Right.
he was the de facto face. And
He's one of the greats.
yeah,
Yeah,
man,
but
he's one of the greats.
and a lot of it just came from like just the rate of music that he was putting out. So it played a huge. I think his style of putting out music back then, for listeners that may not be well aware, when Wayne was coming out, like he was putting out like a mixtape every week. So no matter what, there was something that you were going to like, unless you just genuinely didn't like Wayne. So I would love to see a Wayne versus Drake. I think I feel like I would have to give it to Drake, of course, but I think it would be interesting to see what Wayne would be able to do with that. Definitely as a follow up to their Wayne versus Drake promo that they had back in the day when they went on tour together.
So
Yeah,
there's so here's a question before we move on. Who could beat Drake? Like definitively
Jay.
beat Drake. Okay, that's who I was thinking in my head, but I wondered if you guys had any other rappers that could beat Drake in a versus.
I would say Jay is the most definitive.
Yeah.
I will say this though, because I didn't give my opinion on the Kanye Drake thing. I think Kanye makes it a tough fight for Drake. I don't think it's easy. I feel as though that would be a battle for Drake where he's not going to just be able to walk right through this against Kanye.
Right.
Okay.
He can't just pull out any random 20. Like he has to be like, okay, I need to really kind of be on my shit.
Yeah, because like at the end of the day, like Kanye has like, granted, Kanye is Kanye now, but I mean, I think his career mimics somewhat of Eminem's career, where you have like you end up having like those bad decades in your career.
Yep.
So, and
I
I think,
my
well, I
bad.
was just gonna say, I think last decade was like a real rough one for Kanye's music career. So,
Yeah, but his music still was better than fucking Eminem shit.
true.
I
But it
I-
still was a hard fall though. I think it was a hard fall in terms of reception. Like
Quality.
I think, yeah. Well, I mean, I wouldn't even say quality, because I think a lot of Kanye albums are always. I think a lot of Kanye's music in the last decade, especially, were always albums that were based off like the future sound. Like he was putting out music that you weren't hearing that sound from until later on,
Right.
like years later. So. But I mean, I think even this Kanye though, he's better than what I agree with. He's better than what Eminem would have been, quote unquote, based off talent. But it's still shaky to see. But
I think that's debatable, but we don't have to stick there.
Yeah, well, I mean, we can get. Well, that's like one of those things that we can really have a real conversation if it ever happens.
That's like we can have another podcast off of that statement alone.
Yeah, but I know, like I know, speaking on music, like us speaking on different parts of music, like I don't know if you guys know, but there was like some new music that came out this weekend, and like there's a bunch of different artists, but like one song that actually stuck out a lot to me was like Elevator Music by Flatbush Zombies this week, and like it reminded me, it made me realize, I'm like, fam, the music, just the music that we've been getting this year, between seeing them, hearing their music. I think the Baby had like a deluxe. Hearing that Drake's got an album coming out on the 28th. Boldy James, Benny's got something coming out. Conway's got something coming out soon. Pretty much Griselda, if you really want to think about it, because Westside's got something else coming out. Boldy, Benny, Conway, West, Armani, everybody over there has got something coming out. So
I think it might be premature. I think Griselda is definitely the label / group of the year.
Hands down.
There's nobody has doing it better than fucking them. Now, if you talk about solo artist wise, you could probably give it to like Lil Baby, right? But then again, that might be debatable, because Lil Baby only had, I mean, he's been killing for the first half of the year. Right now, July, August, you know, like that wave is not quiet, you know, and it's not.
But Baby has. Go ahead.
I was going to say, it's not a bad thing. I'm not saying he's falling off or nothing, but like the album thing is finally, you know, the radiation of the My Turn album and all the songs off of that, it's finally, you know, fizzling out, and you know, the cycle is finally ending. I just feel like, man, the Griselda guys, man, they got boom, 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 boom. Like, it's been throughout the whole fucking year, nigga. I'm like, it's crazy, because when we was talking about the BT shit, you know, we all agree that they should have got the best group of the year, but we thought, like, okay, you know, realistically, they probably won't. They'll probably get the Migos, the City. The Migos, bro, I like the Migos, but this wasn't their fucking year at all.
So it's funny, because I was thinking about so we did the you know, Fly God is an Awesome God 2 album review, which listeners, that'll be coming out soon. But when I was thinking about album of the year, since this is a question that's floated through, you know, our group chat, all that shit, you know, I'm just very interested to have that conversation with y'all, because I think my list is gonna look very different from your two list, and I'm just interested to see where albums fall and whatnot. Fly God is Awesome God 2 would definitely be in conversation, because it has no choice but to be. But go ahead.
I was gonna say. Well, go ahead. I was going to say something about Fly God too. That's why.
Well, I mean, essentially what I was going to say was just that there's a lot of good shit that's came out this year. Shouts out to Silk Money and his project, because I feel like nobody's really talking about that, and that's one of my favorites from the year for sure.
Right. I still haven't gotten around to listen to Silk Money's, but I mean, I think when it comes to artists, I'm with you, Lau, on this, where I got to give it to Griselda in terms of collective, and the argument would be all across the board, I think, when it comes to best artist. But I think best artist is going to go to the Baby, like that Rockstar song,
or Lil,
the Baby.
Oh man, you're high.
I mean, he's had the number one record for like his record's been number one for like 7 weeks.
Come on, bro.
7 weeks.
I disagree with that as well.
I come on.
Listen. I'm only. We're gonna keep it real as we can. Let's be honest with ourselves.
The box was killing it.
But, if y'all let me talk. Like, god damn. No, like, let's be honest with ourselves. When I'm saying this from the standpoint of, if we looking at any award show, and the baby's name is up there for Artist of the Year, and it's going against other hip hop acts, I think he's going to win it from that standpoint. I've already came out and said I think Fly Guy 2 is the album of the year. I may be taking my statement back after listening to it recently, but I'm strong. I lean strongly on probably taking that statement back, but like. Like when it comes down to it, the baby's album is going to be based off of, like, he's going to be considered quote unquote number one based off the sales and who has the biggest record. When it comes to hip hop, he has the biggest record.
Is the deluxe version of the album better than? Is it better than Fly God 2?
No, it's totally different music.
No, man. Answer the question.
I said no. It's totally different music.
All right, so when Pray for Paris came out or Fly God 2 came out, and because Fly God 2 came out last month?
You totally did not hear anything I said.
No,
because we all know West Side Gun is not winning anything at an award show. If he gets in competition or listed for Artist of the Year, we know he's not winning. If him and Baby are in the same competition, whether it be Grammys, whether it be BET Awards, MTV, VMA, whatever you want to call it,
they chose the Migos over Griselda, and the Migos only put out like 2 fucking songs. And there were only 2 songs that you had to do some research to. I couldn't even fucking remember the names of the fucking songs. So what I'm saying is this, right? Yeah, he's selling. He's selling. The nigga is like a pop star. He's selling. People are fucking with him, but for you to say he's rap Artist of the Year, you could say, oh, he's the hottest Artist of the Year, he's the most popular Artist of the Year because he sold the most. Does not mean that the nigga was the best rapper of the fucking year.
I preference it with if we're basing it off of what the regular media would say when it comes to award shows. If I'm basing this off, when I'm grading this off of like the Grammy standpoints and stuff, it's going to be the baby, because the baby, technically speaking, his run hasn't stopped yet. And for him to have the number one album, the number one song for the past 7 weeks, for pretty much, granted it's a quarantine, but it would be considered if it's number one song for 7 weeks.
Roddy Ricch, he had the box, and technically Roddy Ricch is on that song. That's probably why that song is 7 weeks, because Roddy Ricch is on that motherfucker.
So you're gonna have features on the song. What does that mean? What does that have to do with anything?
What I'm saying, bruh, is I think that you're wrong, bruh. If we're using your analogy, the Migos won best group of the fucking year, and the niggas didn't even put out shit. Well, you had the City Girls, while we actually supported each other on why the City Girls might have taken it, and we all thought Griselda should have taken it because of their body of fucking work, but the fucking Migos won it. Right? Can you guys name a Migos song right now that it came out with without Googling on your fucking phone? No, because they didn't really put out anything, right? You know what I mean? So what I'm saying is like, yes, because the baby wins this award and the baby wins that award, doesn't mean that he should have fucking won it. We all know the awards it's a crock of shit. It's a popularity contest at the end of the day.
Yeah, but it doesn't change the fact that it's still that those award shows still hold merit to some people, and for those people that it holds merit to, that, like I said, if anybody grades off who's having the biggest year in the terms of artistry, it's going to be the baby. The baby would be the baby would end up being the biggest artist at the end of the day. That's how I look at it. From my viewpoint, that's how I look at it. If you have the number one song in the country for multiple weeks within the summertime with music being released by other artists.
So the box, bro, come on.
Okay, but so we're gonna just add like even though the feature probably helped him get the number one, we can't sit here and act like, oh, the baby just hasn't been filling up billboards since last year. Well, like he's been filling up the billboards since he came out with Suge. And that was 2018.
Because he's trendy, bro. Look, Lil Xan.
He's been trending for almost 2 years.
Well, no, look. Here's what I'll say to support. Hold on, wait. Here's what I'll say to support Lyle's statement real quick. Like, well, Roddy Ricch did have like a really nice start to the beginning of the year, and not only that, but he's also kind of tearing up the summer with this single alongside the baby. So I would lean more towards Roddy Ricch because he's been doing it throughout the year instead of like through the summertime. I don't think the baby was like, oh man, like we're really listening to the baby at the beginning of the year. You know what I mean? Mind you, he's still been around. Don't get me wrong.
But at the same time, you have to say people were still listening to him because he was putting out music in the beginning of the year and it still was charting in the. Well, obviously we talking about the people that pretty much push records up on Billboard. If Billboard at the end of the day, if he's in the top 5 of Billboard for the majority of this year with multiple different singles and so forth, clearly it says something that says something independent of Roddy Ricch.
Right.
Like,
I mean,
and clearly if those numbers are being escalated up to that high within Billboard, that lets me know the general consensus is the majority of people that listen to music are listening to that. Now, granted, those people are not you and I. Those people are not you and I that actually are going to listen to like real hip hop music or West Side Gun or someone like that. But at the end of the day, it's the reality. Like, we're not going to sit here and negate like people that listen to the radio don't have an opinion when it comes to music. Fine. They do. It may not be as qualified as ours when we talk certain subjects, but when it comes to surface level things, they're going to be able to have a conversation because of what they listen to.
That's fair enough. But like, look at it like this: Roddy Ricch has been on 2 of the top singles from this year, and I can't say the same thing for the baby right now. I can't.
The baby's okay, but at the same time, the baby has had a run since last year,
right? And so that's like, cool. But
he came into 2020 being one of the biggest new artist next to Megan Thee Stallion, right? In 2019. So he came off of that. He came off the heels of that, put out music, and the music was still climbing the charts, going higher and higher. And then he puts out Rockstar. When he puts out Rockstar, it goes to number 1. Like, okay,
Roddy Ricch.
Okay, and who has discounted Roddy Ricch so far? Who has discounted? I have no one has discounted it.
You're discounting him by saying the baby is the rapper of the fucking year.
So how am I discounting? I'm saying if I'm going off the record of the baby since last year, since its inception, he has been on a run. Since the inception of Shook, he has been on a run. We cannot deny that. So you're not going to sit here and tell me, oh, it's only because you're making it sound like he was just some guy that no one was talking about the baby in the beginning of the year. No one had any opinions of the baby. The baby put out multiple projects this year. He's put out tracks this year that have gotten up to within the Billboard, and it's just him on the songs.
Right.
So you can't tell me because he puts out a song and it goes number 3 this year that now prior to the song with Roddy Ricch, I think his highest song was The Bop or whatever it was at 3 or whatever. So
hold on.
Okay, go ahead.
What I was gonna say was, if you want to say that the baby's like still one of the biggest stars in rap right now, I'm not gonna disagree with you. That's fine. If you're saying who has the bigger 2020 year, then I would say that's Roddy Ricch, because at the end of the day, he's been on two very long standing at this point, like top Billboard records. It just is what it is. So like, that's not to take away from the baby. It's just saying that Roddy Ricch is having a better 2020.
But at the same time, I feel like you're trying to discount the baby's success, because if you're telling me, because to me my thing is this, it's like saying, okay, granted, I agree, Roddy Ricch has made some big songs this year, and the biggest songs this year at the end of the day, right? But at the same time, when we go into that single, prior to that single, Baby has a song that's number 3, right? So clearly on his own merit with no feature. So if he's able to get himself to number 3, it's hard for me to say, it's granted. I think Roddy Ricch does help. He helps get that track to number 1 because Roddy Ricch is one of the biggest artists this year. But in the same breath, I'm going to say, the baby holds a lot of contribution to that. So like, because his trajectory was to be a number 1, was to have a number 1 already.
I mean, okay. Right.
With or without Roddy Ricch, he was on the trajectory of having a number 1. If you're slowly building up, and the last single that you put out this year is at number 3, of course the next joint you should put out should be somewhere around 2 or 1, right?
So right, if we're going off the way that you're viewing it and your perception of things, then that means, unfortunately, 6ix9ine would be the hottest artist in the fucking game then, instead, right? Because every song he dropped it all debuted in the top 5 with one
and
of them.
it drops off hard.
That means nothing.
It does. So how does that not mean anything if I'm saying, yo, he has a number 1 song, Rockstar's number 1 for 7 weeks, right? If I'm saying if it's a number 1 song for 7 weeks, that says something about staying power. And you bring up an artist that had a number 1, but as soon as he goes from number 1, he goes to number 18 within the following week. Like those are 2 different conversations between the 2 artists.
But earlier in your argument, you were saying like, oh, but all the award shows, all the numbers and all that, right? Well, you have a nigga who, of course he's not at the award shows yet because he just fucking got out, but he got all the fucking numbers, whether it's fake or not. That's another discussion. He's breaking all the fucking numbers on streaming. You know what I mean?
But,
so and all his songs that he's debuted, it's all the top 5, whether it falls off the next week or not. So like I'm just saying,
it has no staying power.
Now you're picking something else out, right?
It's not. It coincides with the 7 weeks that I was talking about before.
But there's a con to every pro, right? The Baby, right? He has a number 1 record right now, and it's been staying for 7 weeks. It's because of Roddy Ricch, right? Because prior to that, the Baby wasn't having a number 1 record, right? It was all fucking Roddy Ricch. Roddy Ricch had
I'm not gonna say it's all Roddy Ricch.
He had the longest top 10.
It's not.
He had the longest top 10 single of the fucking year so far. He had the longest. I mean, the Box was number 1 for God knows how long. The Box was a bigger song than this. I didn't even hear this fucking Rockstar song. If I heard it, it probably played once. I didn't even fucking hear it, man. But I could tell you what, we could talk about the Box, and plenty of people talk about this Box. And I'm just saying, like, I have
plenty of people talk about this. I got plenty of people talk about this Box.
Pause. But so I mean, like, I agree with you when you said like he's one of the biggest new artists in it, hands down. And scratch the new. Because say he's one of the biggest. But to say even if you say, oh well, he's the biggest artist this year, he's the hottest artist this year, that's great. But initially you said, oh well, he's rapper of the year. That's when I'm like, skirt. Yo, man,
yeah.
That's
and I stand on that.
Exactly. That I agree with Lyle. I agree a lot on what he's saying, but
but see, to me, like I said, I don't even understand what the debate about is, because y'all all agree with me.
Biggest, but when I rapper
so let me ask you again. Let me ask you again. What did I say earlier? Right? I asked you if we're going to the Grammys, VMAs, BET, wherever you want to go, where music is respected, right?
Okay.
Highly respected by the masses. When it comes to rapper of the year, do you think who do you think who do you think is beating out the Baby as of right now? We're not going to go off projections of what Drake might put out or what Kendrick or Cole might put out.
Well, we already know Drake is going to stop him, so let's not.
No, because you're basing it off of what if. We're not going to play the what if at the moment. Like, because let's say if something happens and Drake pushes his album back and doesn't come out the rest of the year. Let's say, God forbid, something happens and Drake is like, yo, we're not putting out any more music until the top of 2021. Then that voids this whole scenario. Okay. So as of right now, who are you putting over him? Like in terms of who do you think
Roddy Ricch? Those are 2 artists right there who are rappers who have big records.
I can see Lil Baby.
People think the Baby's music is fucking trash. People don't think Lil Baby and Roddy Ricch music is fucking trash. And
but at the same time, his music is still going up.
I'll bring it another, bring it to sports where hopefully you can understand where I'm coming from. When Steph Curry was selling out the most fucking jerseys in the NBA, and everybody remembers the Golden State Warriors run, was he the best basketball player during that time?
I got a better one for you. Like, we all know Conor McGregor, like, he's gonna sell out a show no matter where he goes because he's Conor McGregor at the end of the day. But is he fighter of the year this year?
No, Absolutely not.
No.
And that's kind of where I'm at with this conversation. You know what I mean? Like Conor McGregor is Conor McGregor at the end of the day, and there's no taking that away from him. But there's people who are having better years than Conor McGregor.
Right, but at the same time, when we look at the Billboard, right? When we look at what Billboard is and who are these consumers, the consumers that will agree on these nominees, right? The person that wins the nominee at these award shows, they're not going to be most of them people are not going to sit here and tell you about, oh, Henry Cejudo it should be triple C or nothing like that. They're going to know that you're more than likely going to deal with the casual fan. The person that's going to probably will tell you more about Conor fighting than they will about Henry Cejudo, right?
You're right.
So
yeah.
in that same regard, when you look at something, like I said, I agree. Lil Baby could be one of the artists that could win it. I will not dispute that. But to me, outside of that, most of these platforms that we're going to for the judgment of music are the platforms where it's going to be based off the masses, which are people that listen to radio. So it will either go down to either Lil Baby or the Baby. And only reason I lean towards the Baby is just because of him having one of the biggest records right now and over the past 7 weeks, along with him still rising as a star since his inception, since last year. So since the inception of Suge.
We could talk about this all day, y'all.
Yeah. So I mean, I say like I said, we agreed. We'll have to agree to disagree. Not even agree to disagree. Like I said. If we all agree, we all agree at the end of the day that it's speaking of all this shit about like albums and West Side album, man, I might have to take my bid away from West Side having the best album of the year, man, because he really upsetted me, man. I don't know who did it, who was involved in it, but me and Nigel talked about this earlier this week about this whole Great Minder track. It's two different songs.
Two different songs. Yeah, it was a fuck up, man. It was a fuck
up. But you saw where they changed Great Minder on Apple Music to what it is on Spotify now.
Oh, so it actually changed.
Yeah, and I hate. I'm not gonna say the song is bad, but it gives me a change. It changes the mood of the album to me, which makes
man. Apple
takes it out of contention.
Apple Music got the real version of the album. I'm telling you, man, Spotify.
What are you talking about? He changed it over to match the Spotify version. That is the real version of the album.
No, it's not.
All right. That's what Westside put out himself. I don't know what to tell you.
Great Mind is no longer Drive By Love. So
right. It's so it's like the actual Great Minder song now on Apple Music. No, hold on.
Yeah. Go ahead and play it, man.
I'm about to play it.
Nah.
Two different versions of the iPhone operating system gives you two different versions of an album. How about that?
That's crazy. That's crazy. But they switched.
Would never happen on an Android. Damn.
Fuck out of here.
Hey, I haven't met anybody who's run into that problem. I see both of y'all with two different versions of the same song. What's going on?
Hey, man, what music player does Android have? It don't say Spotify.
Don't matter because I have Spotify.
Now you're quiet.
I can tell you what I have.
Now he's quiet. Now the nigga quiet, bro. You don't got no motherfucking music player on this shit.
Hey man, look, I don't need one. I got my own.
Third party
Nigel's music player.
Nigel's music player. You know, no one's. You know the downloads on that app are. No one said, yo, you listen to Nigel's music player? It's like, man, you might as well listen to Napster, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Does that even? Do they even have an app like at all?
Probably so. I think so. I think Napster still exists somehow. I'm surprised. Not surprised necessarily, but. Hey, yo, quick question. Did y'all see, did y'all know Walmart is doing a drive-in now?
I thought you were about to say they're doing a drive-by. I'm like, no, Jesus.
I came close to saying that by accident.
But they've been doing that with pharmacy. The Walmart.
No, I'm talking about a movie drive-in.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I saw that. You know what? I fuck with the idea of drive-in movies. Like, I'm more than down for that.
Yeah.
Why not?
I'm super down for it. I'm curious to see how it's gonna work out because it's well, I won't have a chance to watch it because the drive-in theater that they did is from August 14th to October 21st, and every day it's sold out in every location.
Really?
Damn.
Yeah, and it's playing nothing but old movies.
I was gonna say, like, what movies though? Like, if they're playing like the new shit, like Tenet or something like that, then I can understand why you sick. But if you playing like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, like, come on, bro, go on YouTube. You know?
Yeah. I mean, but I think it's the nostalgia of being able to go to a drive-in though.
No, I feel you. I feel you on that.
Yeah, because I think that's more of what it is. Because like you say to yourself, like, damn man, like I haven't been to a drive-in, and Lord knows how long. Right. But I think it's dope though that they're gonna be doing this. Like I'm curious to see how it plays out overall.
Go in and buy your snacks and come back out and watch a movie.
Yeah, and literally that's how it's set up. Like
yo man, that's actually kind of dope. Like that sounds like a perfect way to make money. Like, that shit sounds crazy.
It is because like you think about it. Because like they're saying, oh, if you need to use the bathroom, you leave your car and you go in the store to use the bathroom. So that just lets me know if I need to forget using the bathroom. If I want to get food, I go in the store and come right back out.
I mean, that could lead to some potentially decent deals like down the line. You know what I mean? But maybe we'll see how that. Say it again.
Well, no, I was just gonna say, and it's free. So, but. Like the listing that they're showing is like they're old movies. Wonder Woman, which is 2017, Spy Kids 2001, Space Jam 1996, Spider-Man Intro to Spider-Verse 2018.
That's a classic.
Ghostbusters 1984, Wizard of Oz. I'm not even gonna say the year because it's old. 1939. Black Panther 2018, E.T. 1982, and Friday Night Lights 2004.
Shouts out to my mom because I would think about going to see Wizard of Oz if she brought up the idea.
So like the only two movies I would go out there to see is Black Panther and Spider-Man to the whatever. But check this out. I got Disney Plus, nigga. Shit. I got Disney Plus.
So you seen the Beyonce shit?
So I
started watching it.
I didn't finish it though, so I can't give a real critique or nothing. But what I will say is
you
Beyonce
Cruz shit.
Absolutely not, nigga.
Got you. I just had to double check.
Let's throw that one out the window. Beyonce is the absolute fucking queen. I don't give a fuck what no nigga say. She is the motherfucking queen, bro. I think her music is the shit, bro. I'm not no Queen Bee stan or nothing like that. Like you'll find people on the internet, but I will not hear her fucking music.
Yep. She makes great
legend.
music.
She's a fucking legend, bro.
Like for real.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. I can't believe that there was a conversation at once where I haven't seen it, but I know I just find it's crazy that there were people actually saying like, oh, Chris Brown is over Beyonce in terms of like talent wise. Yeah. I mean, this was a debate. Now don't get me wrong, Chris Brown is extremely talented.
Yes,
but just overall, I have to go with Beyonce. And we don't even have to have I don't even think that's really up for like a real debate at the end of the day. So,
y'all ready to take it out?
Go
ahead, Nigel. No, you take it out, Nigel. No, you, Nigel.
man, step back. Everybody, step back. I got this.
I didn't have a chance to say anything. Go ahead, Spence. You got it.
I gotta put the podcast on my back.
Oh, okay. All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you guys, you've been highly advised. Thank you all. Fellas, you guys got anything else to say before we close out? You know, this is the one and only.
Hey, man, 6 figures ain't enough for a nigga.
I'll see y'all next week. Been highly advised. Wait for our dope shit that we're putting out. We got some album reviews coming out and possibly some other cool stuff for y'all.
Chill. Don't tell them that. Don't give them the recipe, man.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I almost let the cat back.
Yeah, know we got something coming up though.
They be booing the shit out of Nigel, the wrestling business, bro.
All right, y'all been highly advised. See y'all later.
Yo.